What's up, guys? He's done 100K in the last 7 days doing Amazon FBA wholesale. I met Gavin down in Mexico this summer. Super excited to have him on the podcast. He's going to break down how he did that, how you can achieve it as well. And welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the Amazon Savages podcast. Hear the stories of Amazon sellers crushing it in the game and keep up with the latest strategies that are working. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you truly try and work really hard, you will make a ridiculous amount of money selling on Amazon.
But you actually have to put the work in. Was it easy or was it hard to sell 100K in 7 days?
Honestly, we have so much more leads that we can possibly buy.
Yeah.
So I
now
think
it's easy, but to get to the point, you had to put the work in.
Oh yeah, to get to the point, it was definitely.
Yeah, but now it feels easy. But
it took a lot of time. Like this is the accumulation of like 4 years on Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't start with a lot of money. I started in the UK with OA, moved to America, did OA, and then started wholesale.
Yeah,
so it's definitely a long time coming. But once you have solid foundations, I think like 100K a week is not that difficult. It's just
Yeah, kind of. You have a really kind of interest. You're relatively new to Amazon too. You've only been on Amazon for how many years now?
4. I think that's really old, man. I feel like the granddad of Amazon.
How long have you been in wholesale though?
Oh, just this year. It's when I see you in Mexico, right? So I was talking about it when I was like super high. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make 10K a month and 20K a month and so on.
Yeah. So I mean, 1 year in wholesale is relatively new, and that 100K in sales is from wholesale.
Yeah, all wholesale.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess 4 years is a minute. Kind of walk us through your Amazon journey then. Like, how did you get to the point where now you're doing 100K in 7 days? How did all that start?
Oh, well, I was like degenerate trying to trade crypto up and down with like almost no money whatsoever. And then I see like a Discord group advertising like Amazon, and for me, I spent all my money on Amazon all the time. Like I had like an average of like 5 or 10 packages every week. It was so bad. So it only made sense that if I spend all my money on Amazon, I should be able to make money from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined the group, just grinded. And then that was during COVID. So we discovered the printers. So printers during COVID was absolutely mental. We buy them for £50, sell them for $150. So I did that for 6 months.
Printers. Why were printers going crazy during COVID?
Because everyone's working from home. No one's going into the office, right? So
I've heard weights, I've heard masks, I've heard Germex, but I've never heard printers.
So there was printers and there was air flight controllers as well. Because that's the thing, like, it was kind of like, the demand increased, but also the supply disappeared too. So if you can take all of the supply for yourself, you can charge insane margins. Because even racing wheels, flight controllers, they were so in demand. I have no idea why either. I guess everybody's out playing games. So.
And is this like online? Are you buying them? Where are you buying the printers from?
So it was mostly RA and Click and Collect RA and some OA, which meant I was on a tube in London, like with some massive carrier bags, basically, going to shops and just buying printers and then carrying it all the way back to my place. It was an absolute bomb.
How much money did you print during that time, and what profit?
So I started with like 1.5K on Amazon in general, and I must have had by the end of the year like 60 grand.
Nice.
So 1.5K to 60 grand in a year. Like I was like super happy with that. But for the first 3 months of me doing Amazon, I didn't find anything. Like I was so bad at it. But, it's just that persistence, and I didn't have anyone to tell me where to go source. So I had to make it work for myself, which is why I found printers. I think if I was just doing like what everybody else was doing, I never would have found printers, and I never would be where I am now. It's because I kind of like made my own way through the journey, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you started more with RA.
Yeah.
And then
which you have to if you have no money, right? Starting OA with like a couple of grand it's too slow.
Yeah, agreed. Here in the United States, I recommend people sell books starting out. Go out with $1,000, spend them on books, turn 1,000 into 4,000 or 5,000, And then once you have a few thousand and you understand sales rank, you understand sales velocity, all that, making shipments, then either do RA, OA, wholesale, some other form of reselling.
Yeah, and that makes sense if you get in that crazy margin with books. I know that it is pretty crazy.
And they account for 10% of Amazon sales, man. Like, I think book arbitrage is actually really underrated. Like Joji Davenport, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a chemistry professor, and he does $100K in profit a year just on the side, flipping textbooks, a few hours a week. And there's the other guy, Seth Baker, right? Is that who you're?
Yeah.
That's
he's gonna be banging.
I didn't put that in my head, which Seth you were talking about. He's doing like what, like 2 million a year?
Yeah, he's smashing it, man.
Yeah. Fucking books. So books are 10% of Amazon sales. So in their
I guess though, like that's good that it's underrated, though, because it means you have way less competition. And the people who follow you and listen to you will have less competition too.
Dude, yeah, there's like a shift, I feel like, where there's like less and less people doing books, which means there's more opportunity just to go out and make money doing it. Because everyone wants to work from home. They want the quick flips, and nobody wants to go out and go to a thrift store and look like a loser and scan the books. Like nobody wants to do that. You know, nobody wants to put that work in.
I don't want to do that either, to be honest, mate.
Yeah. Nobody wants to do it. But it makes money.
There's money in it.
So then you got into, I think I heard you talking about, you were like a shoe seller, right?
Yeah, so we ran out the UK for a while, but we switched it away in the UK. But the UK market, honestly, is kind of weak. Comparatively to the USA, it's so weak. So we basically jumped ship from UK to USA. Then we started selling shoes for about 1.5 years. And I think that's when I first moved to Mexico. But personally, I don't care about shoes. They don't, like, I know some people in America just absolutely love shoes, like all these high flips and all this kind of stuff. I just don't give a shit. I'm just like, if it makes money, fine. But because I'm not that interested in it, I can never like grow it as big as I could before with my wholesale. My wholesale, I really enjoy it. So it's part of why we're scaling so much. Books is kind of like, I just need a team to do it. Like this year, I probably clocked under like 50 hours on that. I just lifted to 2 team members the entire year. And now it's like almost shut down. I've almost shut it down. But maybe we did like 700, 800K revenue on that shoe business this year. We're doing like 2 hours a week. So I can't complain for the money it brings. But yeah, I'm sure the
How are you? Do you have like a team of VAs buying for you?
Yeah, I have a team of 5. I have 2 admins. I have like a purchaser who helps with the purchases, and also will scan the leads lists and help the supplier relationship side of things. And then I have 2 people who will look through the leads lists for me.
Mm-hmm. And then, so are they doing wholesale stuff for you too, or is that just OA?
No, they're all in wholesale now. They're all
okay,
wholesale.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's all the wholesale. The reason I have 2 admin VAs is because I suck at admin, and I'm scared if I only have one and one leaves, if I have to do admin, my business dies like in the next 2 weeks.
What do you mean by admin?
It's like reconciliation, speaking to the prep center, speaking to the suppliers to make sure we've got the right product. Then you have like all the account health in Amazon, right? So I know all the account health, the authenticity complaints, like voice of the customer checks, returns, reimbursements, shipping discrepancies, anything that's like, so these are all tasks, right, which you can outsource for relatively cheap. They're very important and your business will fail without them, but they don't add money to the business like a saucer or like a scanner does, right? So I have 2 admin VAs just because I'm horrendous at it, and if one leaves, I will be fucked.
Yep. Do you have them do stuff like if you have a form to fill out, like a personal form, or like buy airplane tickets, or like if you have like a tedious form to fill out, I guess, like do you have them do that stuff too?
I think that's my plan next year, like a personal assistant is what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a personal assistant. God bless him, Rustum. and he is amazing. He works a lot, and I'm almost dependent on him at this point. He does everything for me. Like, yeah. I read Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week, like in high school, and then I read it like 6 years ago. And he was like, just hire a personal assistant, hire a VA, and have them do anything for you. And this is when I started my Amazon business. I was just going out to thrift stores, finding books, and I hired a VA. I didn't need one, but I would just have them do like the stupidest stuff for me. And it was just to build that muscle of delegation. And now it's like literally voice messages all day to him. And he does all the reconciliation stuff too. So, super nice having him. I could not live. I will never live without a personal assistant. And once I start getting to the point where I'm bringing in like, probably honestly, like when I get to like 300,000 in like net profit, I'm going to hire just an American personal assistant and pay him like $80K.
Is that per year or per month?
Per year. Like once I get to the point where I'm like comfortably like pulling out 300K like after taxes, I'm just going to pay, like I'm willing to pay someone $80K just to be my personal assistant, like here in America.
But why would a personal assistant cost $80K in America?
Because
I
think you want someone smart, like, because right now, I mean, I'm like my VA is really smart, but there's like that kind of gap. There's a cultural gap with things, especially when making phone calls. And I just want to be like James Bond, where I have like someone in my ear all the time, and it's just like, you know, like his assistant, like that's planning everything out. Like honestly, like I probably like eventually will pay someone like 150, 200K a year just to be my assistant. And like it's an assistant, but I want someone like almost like a project manager who's like doing everything for me. And like, I'm just like the one going out and they're like making sure everything's in line, because that's not my strength. And that's what I use a VA for now, is to like have that structure and like reconciliation of everything in my life. And eventually I'm going to have a personal assistant that like Master Chief style in Halo, where I just like press a button and, okay, I need this, you know. I mean, that's kind of what I have now. Like I essentially have that, but I think it'd be nice to have an American.
Yeah. So that would make sense if you're making like 1 million net a year, but 300K to spend 80K, I think that's a bit steep.
I think the ratio stays the same for me though, because like I'm making like, you know, 200K profit-ish a year. And even when I was making like 40K profit a year, I was paying probably 4,000 to 5,000 for a personal assistant when I was making like 40K. Yeah. So I was like, you know, I value my time a lot. And I don't like doing this stupid repetitive tasks.
I think I kind of have like the opposite, not issue, but my wholesale business now is like so low delegated in terms of responsibilities, tasks, that really it only takes like 2 or 3 hours a day for me, sometimes a little less. So there isn't that much for me to the business. So overall, I probably have like more spare time. So when I go to Thailand, I'm really looking forward to like spending a few months and just doing Muay Thai every day of my time.
You said Muay Thai?
Yeah.
Nice. How long have you been doing Muay Thai for?
No, I was only doing it when I was in Thailand last year. I did it for like 3 months.
Yeah.
It was
Did you ever have like any intense sparring sessions, or was it just more technique and pads?
I said more technique, but I sparred my mate a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think my second ever training session for Muay Thai, I was sparring my mate. They just throw you in, but my mate's been training for like a few years. So I was just getting me last.
How do you spar with like the leg kicks in Muay Thai?
It's kind of like, so you just don't use your full power. You go a bit slower.
Yeah, but like a head kick, how do you make sure you don't like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like if you get a head kick with perfect timing, even if you're just sparring, I feel like you'd knock someone the fuck out.
Bro, we're not so good we can do head kicks. We don't have that flexibility.
You're tall though. You don't have to.
Actually, maybe I can do head kicks, but I'm not going to try against them. And I only have limited experience with it.
Mm-hmm. Just Muay Thai, nothing else?
Yeah, like I used to like boxing, but Muay Thai is like really good cardio. I think it's way better than boxing.
It's so much fun. I'm doing a little bit of Muay Thai. I've taken like 3 classes, but I shadow box all the time. And I've done wrestling and jiu-jitsu my whole life, so it's so much fun to strike.
So you pretty much grew up in like the martial arts / combat fighting world.
Yeah. I'm coaching wrestling now. So I just canceled my jiu-jitsu membership yesterday because I'm basically working every hour that I'm not doing wrestling or salsa dancing. And I wrestle and salsa dance a lot. So I'm like, I just need to be working the rest of the time.
I remember when we was in Mexico City, we went to Sonora Prime. You ordered like a 1.1 kg steak to yourself. Then you had like sides and stuff like that. And then you went to jiu-jitsu or something straight afterwards. Like, that's like 2,000 calories in your stomach, bro. Like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, I need to get at least one martial art a day. And right now I'm coaching wrestling. So I even like, dude, 5 minutes of wrestling is like an hour of Muay Thai or boxing or jiu-jitsu. Because wrestling is, in my opinion, the hardest sport in the world. Like, wrestle somebody for 5 minutes and you'll be like dead. Jiu-jitsu though is like chill. That's why people smoke weed. They go to jiu-jitsu. They're on their back. It's as hard as you make it, but wrestling is never easy. So that's kind of where I'm getting my fix right now. But when I was in Mexico, we went out, we got steak, and it was like I was listening to Andrew Tate every day, and Andrew Tate's like, "You got to become a killer," and I'm like, "Yeah, got to become a killer. I'm gonna go to jiu-jitsu and like train like I'm fucking James Bond." Like, I think men should train. I think every man should be a killer. Before Andrew Tate popped up, I believe that. Like,
I think everyone should know the basics of fighting so you can defend yourself.
Yeah.
And I think if you know how to fight, you're less likely to fight as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you don't want to be that guy who has no idea how to fight, but you're super aggressive, start throwing punches.
Yeah.
You just get yourself like knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly. So you're traveling the world doing Muay Thai. You're living in Mexico right now.
Well, I haven't done it in Mexico. I've only done it in Thailand.
There's a few boxing gyms in Mexico. There's like Skull Crushers or something. Yeah, I was looking some up. There's one in La Condesa that I was thinking about going to. Boxing gym.
I was trying to find some a while back. I couldn't find it.
There's one in La Condesa for sure. I lived right next to it. I never went to it though. But can you kind of break down how you're able to do this? Like, just for complete beginners. I got a lot of booksellers listening to this podcast. They're like, how the hell is he living in Mexico? He's from the UK. You're selling on .com. How are you getting your items prepped? Like, kind of walk us through your setup.
Okay, so I have a warehouse in America that basically receives all of the stock. So
is it your warehouse or a prep center?
Prep center. It's not my warehouse. Yeah, so you can use a VPN to do your purchasing. Mm-hmm. So that way you have an IP address, but your IP address has to be very close to your prep center. Otherwise, you will get flagged. And then really all we're doing is like, we call the wholesaler. They send us a purchase order. We either pay via Amex or bank transfer. Some of them have like an online portal that we can pay as well. And they'll ship it to the warehouse for us. And then the warehouse will prep it. And even better is when some of the wholesalers will prep it for you and ship it straight into Amazon. So, and when you think about that, you don't need to be in America to sell in America. All you need is someone to handle your goods. So you'll pay like a $1 or a $2 fee per good that they handle. And then after that, yeah, you need an American LLC, but you just don't need anything else. For example, like I'm a UK citizen, but I have my tax residency in Paraguay, and I operate a USA American LLC company, living in Mexico, paying wages in Filipino pesos. It's a mindfuck, right?
Why Paraguay?
0% tax on foreign owned income. In the UK, no, you're an American, so it's a lot harder.
Gotcha, yeah.
But for a UK person, you don't pay, if you're not a UK tax resident, which you can drop if you don't live in the UK after X amount of days, you then don't have to pay income tax or anything like that, right?
Do you have like a visa or like a passport for Paraguay?
Oh, I have my cedula. It's like an identification card. I flew in there for 2 days, went to the government with some lawyer, got everything handled, and now I have a Sedula, which is an identification card. I have a Paraguayan driver's license and a Paraguayan motorbike license.
Mm-hmm.
I've never once driven a motorbike, which is pretty cool.
How much money would you recommend somebody, or how much money rather were you making profit when you decided just to take off and travel the world like you do? Like that's one thing we have in common is we both love travel, and you're kind of living that 4-hour work week life. I don't know if you're working 4 hours a week, but you're living the lifestyle of traveling the world and working anywhere. It's like the new rich. At what point were you like, okay, I'm confident enough that I can provide for myself, I'm pulling enough profit? Like kind of walk us through what your sales and profit were before you did that.
So I was mentoring quite a few people. So I was making like 7-8K a month from Amazon. I was making like 2-3K a month from mentorship. Well, I would say it depends on where you want to live. Like I think if you want to live in Mexico City doing Amazon, maybe like $3,000 a month spending to live a very good life.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest gets reinvested back into your Amazon business.
Yep.
If you're making only $5,000 a month from your Amazon business, then I wouldn't recommend Mexico City, because to then spend this much money on living is going to stunt the growth of your Amazon business. But you go somewhere like Thailand and spend like $1,500 a month on a $5,000 income. So then you're reinvesting $3,500 US, right? So the answer to this, it depends on where you want to live. I think at the very minimum, you could do like $5,000 US a month as an Amazon seller, net profit, if you go to like Thailand and live a bit cheap, or Bali. But Mexico City, like I probably say like close to $10,000 US a month.
Mm-hmm. What's the most amount of money you've made on Amazon in 1 month?
I'm not sure. It's probably like 40 grand.
Nice.
But then this month we're looking at like 50 to 60 net profit. And next month I'm hoping we get like close to 80.
What are you doing differently to prepare for Q4?
So we buy way more stock than everybody else. Or it's not, no, we buy more stock in general. But it's also like we're looking at the keeper listings and we're seeing how well they sell during December. But then when I say that, we're not actually doing anything that special. Like we have our own sourcing methods, which I can't really go into because it's really niche, which next is like crazy margins. But I'm not interested in doing seasonal items because I have a team, right? I've built skills in my team that's good for my niche. If I then do a different niche for seasonality items, then my team's not good at that. So I think the risk is too high. So I'm always sticking to what I'm doing. I'm always trying to get better at the niche I'm in and grow this. So I think in the long run, that will make you a lot more money than you just flipping and flopping around everywhere trying to sell random shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also dependent on the life that you want as well. For example, I have no option to do any FBM. I don't live in America. I can't do FBM. So I'm only doing FBA. So
well, you could get a prep center that does FBM.
Then I have to work more.
You said what? Then you have to work more?
Yeah.
It's completely possible. I use preps for FBM a lot. So essentially like FBA. Like once you have a third party doing it for you, put your team.
And here's the thing. It's not about me doing the work, it's about the team doing the work. How much extra work is this for the team? How much logistics, how much complications?
Yeah.
And what can go wrong? And if it goes wrong, what's the cost of it going wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, FBM is pretty damn strict. If you get that wrong, and I want little involvement, then my account gets shut down.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely systems you have to put in place. Like we ran into that where we relied on the prep center to mark the item as shipped, and they just wouldn't sometimes because maybe they shipped it, maybe they didn't, but they wouldn't mark it as shipped during the due date. And so now my team just makes sure they have a rule that even if it's not shipped, they mark it as shipped, and then they send the label to the prep center and say, hey, get this shit out. the next day. So now we don't run into the issue of late orders anymore. So it's just like anything. But yeah, there's definitely more variables. Like you have to answer customer service. You can't ship items late. You got to make sure your merchant shipping templates are good. Otherwise, you'll have like an overnight label and your prep center's closed on Friday or Saturday, Sunday. And then you have to wait a few days. Like just make sure those things are figured out. But if you get a reliable prep, you can 100% do merchant fulfilled. But again,
yeah, but then it's a question like, is it worth it? Because what you just said is a lot of stuff for me. I mean,
yeah.
I sell about 10,000 units every month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's going to be a huge operation for the prep center, even if it's like doing 2,000 units a month. So the room for error is bigger than the reward. And the way I see it, right, I built this Amazon business for the lifestyle that I want. And for me, that's keeping my business as simple as possible. I don't care if I make less money than other people, because I'm still making way more money than I can ever spend. And then maybe the reason, dude, I'm making so much money now is because I've kept my business simple. I'm not trying to do so many different things all the time. There's no like shining light bulb. I'm only trying to get better at what I'm doing, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think that's huge. Life has been trying to teach me that lesson for a long time.
It's so easy to do, man. It's so easy.
What's your opinion on book arbitrage? Because you're flying to Bangkok with a bookseller, right, Seth, who's doing $2 million-ish a year.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on book arbitrage overall? Because he's buying books on Amazon or on eBay and then flipping them on Amazon. What's kind of your perception of that?
All right. So my biggest concern with this kind of stuff is counterfeit books.
Yeah.
Amazon right now has been going so hardcore on so many sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands have been under review for Section 3 counterfeit policy or whatever it is.
Dude, I don't know how Seth hasn't gotten counterfeit claims doing $2 million a year.
Maybe he just doesn't like do the kind of brands that people bow for. Maybe there's like more low-key brands. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's because of the suppliers he's buying them from.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do like thrift shop stuff, I don't believe. And I'd imagine that's a lot more easier to like buy counterfeit goods from.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, there's definitely there's a lot of books that were shipped from like India, and they're just circulating everywhere. Yeah. A lot of them are on eBay, but a lot of Amazon sellers can't sell textbooks anymore. But they're certainly in thrift stores and libraries and even college bookstores sometimes.
Yeah, it's like in my head, like how do I feel about the books? I think you can scale very quick and generate a lot of money from nothing, but I also think the risk is quite high. So maybe if I was going to, I mean, I'm not the expert here, you are, but this is me spinning off the top of my head, right? If I was going to see a new seller who was serious about Amazon, maybe I was suggesting to like open an Amazon seller account in like his mom's name or like a friend's name, somebody who has no connection to himself. Grow that account on books until you get to the point where you want to do OA or wholesale or RA, and then build a completely separate account for that. So that way, once you make that transition, your new main account wouldn't get flagged at some point with the books account. But I don't know.
I would say like my perception, I've never really heard of anyone getting in trouble for used books. Obviously myself got in trouble, but the reason why I got in trouble was I had an account from 2017. So I was grandfathered in to sell all books. And there's a category of books, Pearson, Cengage, McGraw-Hill. They hired a law firm to do test buys on commonly counterfeited titles. So they have like a list of 400, 500 ASINs they do test buys on. If they happen to buy from you and it's a fake copy, they say, hey, you're selling fake shit. Get off Amazon, pay us. And that's kind of the model. And so that happened to me. And I started restrictedinventory.com a few years ago, got my Amazon account shut down. Then I basically partnered with other people and had them sell the textbooks that I couldn't. And then Amazon connected us all together. And we had like VAs logging in from overseas. So they were like, hey, you're selling a bunch of fake books. You have a VPN or you have an IP address from overseas. You're probably like a counterfeiter from India or Philippines or something, like finagling the system, because I did actually sell counterfeit books on accident on multiple accounts. And so now we have one account that can sell textbooks that's approved by both the brand and Amazon. And they both trust the seller account to sell textbooks. So that's how I was able to keep that alive. But that's kind of like why my account got shut down this summer, was I went through all that crap with them. So anyone that wants to use restrictedinventory.com, we're still up and running, and we never take more than a $20 profit. So if you sell a $100 profit book, and Seth will actually probably start using this now, you will keep 80 and we keep 20. If you sell a $15 profit book, we split the bread 50-50. We keep $7.50. You keep $7.50. But if you sell a $200 profit book, you get $180. The most we ever keep is $20.
Grind hard, well done, sir. And welcome to the freaking Well Show.
Restrictedinventory.com. Risked all my Amazon accounts for that business. I learned a lot though. So that's kind of my rundown on counterfeit books and what to expect. And newer sellers don't really have to worry about it because they can't even sell the books in the first place.
Yeah, so if it's a name brand that's like targeting you and you can't sell them, you just don't, that's a lot of risk. But I do think there's overall a lot more caution on Amazon with all the Section 3s going out.
For sure.
I think kind of like, but here's the thing, dude. Like, I'm just going to say this, there is so much fucking dodgy ass stuff going out on Twitter about how people buy their leads from like Telegram groups, Amazon, Instagram distributors, like fraudulent gift cards. There's just so much fraud going on.
The shipping stuff. I don't know if you got in on that earlier.
I don't know what it is, but I keep hearing about $1 shipping labels? Yeah.
So if you're doing MF, you can get like $1-2 shipping instead of paying $4 or $5. So if you're selling an item that has like slim margins, like 10%, you're making $1 on it. Yeah. If you can increase your margin by $3 by saving $3 on shipping, you're now you're making 100% margin.
What, dude? And this is why Amazon is clamping down. There's so much fraud.
Yeah.
Like, so many people on Twitter have been suspended. I mean, I've been seeing on Twitter about people talking about moving to dropshipping now. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like some people can't get their accounts back. It's like, yeah, I'm doing dropshipping now, TikTok stuff. It's like, this is what happens if you go too dodgy on Amazon. Like, you have to stick to the policies. You have to play by the fair game.
100%. What's your biggest failure?
On Amazon so far?
Or life. We can get deep. I'm just kidding.
Probably my biggest failure on Amazon is when I was doing the transition to USA. I moved 2 of my best VAs from UK to USA, and then I left 3 or 4 VAs from the UK, but they were all not performing well. Then the purchase manager got pissed off, started going rogue, started buying the wrong items for whatever fucking reason, wrong variations. And then I ended up just firing that entire team. And then pretty much restarted with my best VAs on USA. So it's like the way I handled my transition from UK to USA was just so horrendously bad that I just lost the entire team. Mm-hmm. And it was probably all my fault. And I learned a lot about managing people there as well. Because even some of the VAs who I moved to USA to do shoes, then couldn't do shoes, so I had to fire them as well. So I lost like 70% of my team just because of how I handled that. When I could have had 2 concurrent successful businesses, I ended up with like one business in the making. Mm-hmm. That was a fucking disaster.
Yeah. What's a common myth about selling on Amazon?
That it's easy. Amazon, when you first start, can be considered easy if you don't know how really. You do like 5-10K monthly sales. But like once you start getting into like 70, 80, 90, 100K plus, there's so much like delegation systems involved, policies that you need to be very careful of. And even capital management, how much you leverage, how much you plan for. There's so many moving parts. And then like inventory going missing, reconciliation with supplier, reconciliation from like even Amazon. So like Amazon is a very leaky business. Money just like leaks from all the holes. And you have to keep very on top of things to make sure that you're not losing money.
Mm-hmm. Right. What's a secret you've learned that's helped you grow your Amazon business?
Not a secret, but I pay attention to more about what I do than what other people do. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're on Twitter or these social medias, you might see someone like, oh, retweet this for a free lead. It's like, why? You're gonna buy a lead that's gonna crash. Like, you have to stay focused in your lane, get good at what you do. Otherwise, again, it's just that light bulb moment. You're just hopping around. Like, people love for other people to take responsibility for their own business. And what I mean by that, instead of you focusing on learning from how to do things yourself, you're looking at like these paid lead lists, or you rely on it for too long. You look at like specific sourcing software for too long, and you have to learn the game.
Yeah. All right, brother. Where can they find you at?
Twitter. Twitter is Gavin Sweeney with 2 Y's.
Yeah.
I'm also on Instagram if you want to see me just travel the world and just post shit.
Awesome. We'll link both those below. You're pretty active on Twitter. You'll answer people's questions and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
And
sweet.
Romo, when are you going to come to Bangkok, dude? When are you coming?
When are you going to get? You're going right now.
December.
December.
I fly on like I think it's the 5th of December or the 2nd.
I'm down to do a trip after March of next year. I'm coaching wrestling until February. I got Miami Sellers Conference in March. And then after that, I'm down to do an Asia trip. But yeah,
Okay.
if you want to do something together, I can get a group of guys, me, Taylor, there's a couple other people.
Yeah, man, that would be insane. Like, dude, like Thailand is so cheap. And this is the thing, guys. Like, if you want to travel, build your business and the systems that will allow you to travel. It doesn't make sense for you to forever only do FBM if you want to travel. You'll never do it then.
Yeah.
And to live in Thailand, like, if you're making net 5K a month, you can move to Thailand and just spend like 1.5K a month.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
3.5K.
life hack. Your money goes so much further. Even in Mexico, like your money doesn't go as far in Mexico, but like I was living in Colombia, dude, that's where it's like a fifth as cheap as America.
Oh, yeah, it's so cheap. What did you think of Colombia? I just thought it was crazy.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's a lot different from Mexico. Like Mexico kind of reminds me of America. Have you traveled much of Latin America outside of Mexico?
Just Colombia. I'm kind of right.
Gotcha. What part? Cartagena?
Medellin and Bogota.
Yeah, so I was in Cali, Colombia, and
I would just right.
It feels more like you're in the thick of it there than Mexico City. Like in Mexico City, you feel safe. There's police, at least where we're living, like La Condesa, Roma Norte, wherever you're at. The girls in Mexico, are basically like American. Like they're different than American girls, but they're like more similar. But in Colombia, I felt like almost like an alien. Like they looked at me and like, the girls would touch my face, like, oh my God, a white person. Like they were just like amazed. And in Mexico, they were just like, oh, it's another gringo. Like they obviously like us, but it wasn't like crazy. And in Colombia, I also felt like a looming presence of how dangerous it is and the lack of police. And, like they have buildings with glass shards, protecting. They have different types of fences. I mean, Latin America is like this in general, like really strong metal bars everywhere. But yeah, you definitely get that looming presence that it's like they're not protected by the police. Where here in America, like coming back to America after traveling in Latin America, like you drive around and there's these huge mansions that have glass windows. And it's like I could go up and cut the glass window, go inside. The police are going to take 20 minutes to get there. And I could take all your shit and run. And in Mexico, but there's cameras we have the police. Like people know that even if they do that, there's still a really high chance they'll get caught. Whereas in Colombia and Mexico, it's like if that shit pops off, nobody was going to protect you. And so you better protect yourself first. And so
I think in Mexico, there's an element of that you are protected, but more from the narcos than the police. I think in Mexico, for me, it's felt pretty safe. But yeah, Colombia, man, as you said, it's got that looming air of danger for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm sure other parts of Mexico have it, but where we stayed was like a very safe area. But I'm sure if you go to those border towns, Tijuana, Juarez, I'm sure it's like that there.
That's true, yeah. But then, like, Bogot's just, I mean, Colombia is just so cheap for food. It's so cheap. And the culture is really nice. I think
It is.
what
I love
what
that they
kind
love
of
salsa music. I like Mexico, they love all music, but in Colombia, it's like they have an obsession with salsa. Like they do not turn it off. Every fucking Uber driver plays salsa. Every restaurant plays salsa. It's like the music is just vibrating in Cali specifically, Cali, Colombia. Like it's called the salsa capital of the world, and it 100% is. More so than all other parts of. I've been to Cuba. I've been to Puerto Rico. Those are two big salsa countries, but there's something special about Cali, Colombia. Like they are obsessed with
it's
the
like
music.
a second home.
Yeah. Yeah. So it literally is like the music like infiltrated the city. It's like they're hypnotized by it. Like it's really crazy. It's pretty cool to see. So if you like salsa, go to Cali, Colombia. Speaking of salsa, this is my salsa band. If you guys are in Nashville, Tennessee, not my salsa band, but I listen to this band, Giovanni Rodriguez. You can look him up on YouTube. Rudy's Jazz Room every Monday night, Nashville, Tennessee. If you guys ever come through, go to Rudy's Jazz Room. All right, Gavin, thanks for coming on, man. It was a pleasure. You gonna come to Miami?
I think next year, yes.
Yeah, let's do it. I think Tom's coming through. I'm gonna have Tom give a talk, so we could have you maybe even like hop on a panel or something.
Yeah, man, that'll be sick. But when is it? When are the talks?
It's gonna be the 15th through the 17th. It's a 2-day event. So 15th is like networking, and then
What month?
You said what?
Which month?
It's March. So it's spring break.
Maybe. I know that maybe it's currently close to my trip in Thailand, but maybe I can fly over for it.
Yeah, we'd love to have you there, man. It's nice to have people from all over the world, and
Is it a massive Amazon Sangha event?
it's pretty big. We had 160 last year. We're expecting upwards of 400 this year, but we'll have at least 200.
Oh, wow.
If we flop, we'll do at least 200, but we'll probably have 300 plus, maybe even 400. We have a room big enough for 400, so we'll see. Miami Sellers Conference. Get your tickets, $500.
Is there a yacht party?
A yacht party?
Yeah. Is another thing with Miami? There's always a yacht party.
Do you want one?
I mean, if I'm there, I'll prefer to.
Fuck, we might have to do one then. Comment below,
But
guys.
don't count on me being there, 'cause I'll be in like Southeast Asia, dude.
Yeah, well, we did a yacht last year, and people liked it. But we polled everybody, and we said, would you rather do a 2-day event or a yacht? And everyone said 2-day event. So we have the venue for 2 days. But if you guys comment yacht, you really want it, we might switch some stuff up.
It's Miami. Like, I don't know. Like, every time I see Miami, I always see yacht parties. So it's like, if I go to Miami, I have to go to the yacht party.
Yeah, we're doing a boat ride Sunday night. So we'll probably get a little yacht for that, but it's like a private thing for like the speakers and a few of the attendees. So, but dude, it's a good time, man. Miami's awesome. All right, brother. They can follow you, Gavin Sweeney. We'll link all your socials below, Twitter, everything.
Cheers, Roma.